The movie Joker is set in a city where the rich and poor live together, but the rich people don't care about the poor. The wealthy look down on those who are struggling and have much better lives. The story focuses on a man named Arthur, who lives with his mother and dreams of becoming a comedian. He loves comedy and hopes to be on the show of his favorite comedian one day. Arthur works as a sign holder, dressed as a clown, standing on the street advertising for a company. One day, some boys take his sign and beat him up. He reports this to his boss, but instead of believing him, his boss scolds him and refuses to pay him for the lost sign. Arthur, who already has low self-esteem, feels even worse. Later, Arthur talks to one of his co-workers about what happened, and the co-worker gives him a gun, saying it will help him protect himself. Though Arthur is hesitant, he takes it. Arthur also suffers from a mental condition where he uncontrollably laughs at inappropriate times. One day on a bus, he tries to make a little boy laugh, but the boy's mother gets upset and tells Arthur to leave them alone. Arthur tries to explain by showing her a card that explains his condition, but it doesn't help much. At home, Arthur continues to care for his sick mother, taking medication for his own mental health, though he struggles to afford it. He also visits a government therapist, but she doesn't seem very interested in helping him. He writes in his journal about his feelings of despair and how he doesn't want his death to be as miserable as his life. Arthur's mother often talks about a wealthy man named Thomas Wayne, who she believes will help them because she used to work for him. She insists that Thomas Wayne is a good man who will come to their aid once he knows about their situation, but Arthur doesn't believe her. As the story goes on, Arthur meets a single mother who lives in the same building. They become friends, and Arthur feels a little better as they grow closer. However, Arthur's life continues to fall apart. He gets fired from a job entertaining children at a hospital when his gun accidentally falls out of his costume. When his boss confronts him, Arthur tries to lie, saying the gun was just a prop, but his co-worker has already told the truth about giving him the gun. On his way home from losing his job, Arthur is on a train where three rich men start harassing a woman. Because of his condition, Arthur starts laughing uncontrollably and the men think he's mocking them. They beat him badly, but in a moment of desperation, Arthur uses his gun to shoot and kill all three men. This act of violence shocks him at first, but he also feels strangely liberated afterward. The news of the murders spreads quickly, and people in the city begin to sympathize with the idea of a clown killing the wealthy. Protests start to grow, with many poor people dressing as clowns to show their anger toward the rich. Arthur, however, keeps a low profile. Arthur's therapist later tells him that their sessions have to end because the government is cutting funding for her program, leaving him without any help. His mental health continues to deteriorate, and he becomes more isolated and disturbed. Meanwhile, Arthur discovers a letter his mother wrote to Thomas Wayne, claiming that Thomas is actually Arthur's father. This revelation leads Arthur to confront Thomas at an event. Thomas angrily denies any relationship with Arthur's mother and punches him. Arthur later finds out from hospital records that his mother was diagnosed with delusions and that she adopted Arthur. These discoveries cause him to lose trust in everyone around him. In a fit of rage, Arthur kills his mother in the hospital. He also kills his co-worker who gave him the gun when the co-worker comes to Arthur's apartment to check on him. Arthur begins to fully embrace his clown persona. After being humiliated by his favorite comedian, who showed a clip of Arthur's failed stand-up performance on national television, Arthur is invited onto the comedian's show. Excited but unstable, Arthur plans his appearance, dressing fully in his clown makeup and costume. On live television, Arthur confesses to killing the three men on the train. He goes on a rant about how society ignores the poor and how he's been treated his entire life. He argues that people only care when the wealthy are hurt but never stand up for the poor. In a shocking moment, Arthur kills the host on live television, causing widespread chaos in the city. The movie ends with the city descending into riots, with people in clown masks protesting and clashing with the police. Arthur, now fully transformed into the Joker, is celebrated by the protesters as their symbol of rebellion. He dances amid the chaos, finally feeling a sense of belonging and power. Meanwhile, Thomas, along with his wife and son, is leaving the city. A clown suddenly appears and shoots Thomas and his wife but spares their son. The scene shifts, showing Arthur with a psychiatrist, laughing. The psychiatrist questions why he keeps laughing without reason, to which Arthur responds that she could never understand his feelings. He leaves the room, with blood on the soles of his shoes, symbolizing his transformation from a good man into a murderer. The moral of the story is that when an innocent person is mistreated for too long, they can become the very villain they despise. Arthur, once filled with pain and suffering, has now become emotionless and finds peace in his new life. The movie ends with this realization.